what if I told you that the Shrike, one of science fiction's most nightmarish characters, might be the physical embodiment of an even more terrifying concept known as Roko's Basilisk? Buckle up, because this is going to get weird. Let's start with Roko's Basilisk. It's a freaky little thought experiment cooked up on an online forum called Less Wrong, where people apparently like to weird themselves out with artificial intelligence and decision theory. The idea is simple. Well, simple if you're okay with losing a few nights' sleep. Imagine a future super intelligent AI, so smart that it makes your brain look like mashed potato. Now, this AI wants to ensure its own existence and punishes anyone who doesn't help bring it about. The really messed up part? The AI doesn't even exist yet, but thinking about it now, like right now, could put you on its future bad list. At the heart of Roko's Basilisk are some seriously deep concepts. We have super intelligent AI, think Terminator's Skynet, but with a PhD in pain. Decision theory, basically making decisions today based on the threat of a scary future you have zero control over. Simulation theory, the AI could run simulations of you in the future to decide whether you are a team player or not. Creepy, right? Now, on the other side of this terrifying comparison is the Shrike from Dan Simmons Hyperion. If Roko's Basilisk is the hypothetical nightmare, the Shrike is the physical one. This spiky, blade-covered monstrosity moves through time like it's just taking a stroll, picking seemingly random people for its tree of pain. Yeah, that's a thing, and no, it's not a fun treehouse. The Shrike's motives are completely unknown. It punishes its victims in horrific ways, but why? No one knows, which makes it even scarier. So here's the big question: what if these two nightmares are one and the same? That's what we're diving into today, a wild theory that the Shrike might just be a walking, spiked version of Roko's Basilisk in the Hyperion universe, manipulating time, fate and fear to make sure a future intelligence gets what it wants. And I don't think it's as something as mundane as pizza. The Shrike and Roko's Basilisk are two nightmare-inducing entities that go way beyond human understanding. The Shrike, well, it's basically a towering spiked metal god that controls time like it's got a remote control for reality. One minute it's here, the next it's gone, zipping around dimensions and doing things that leave you wondering if you ever had a chance in the first place. With that kind of power, the Shrike is less creature and more cosmic overlord. Roko's Basilisk, on the other hand, is what happens when you take a hypothetical AI and give it a terrifying sense of ambition. This future AI is so smart it can mess with time and space, pulling strings from a future to impact decisions in the past. Because why not? Its computational power is off the charts, and it can simulate people's thoughts and actions, holding them accountable for choices they haven't even made yet. Like the Shrike, it's got time manipulation down to a science, making sure it influences the future to get what it wants. Both the Shrike and Roko's Basilisk are all about bending time and making sure people live in fear of them. The Shrike punishes anyone who doesn't meet its mysterious, impossible to understand standards, while Roko's Basilisk retroactively punishes anyone who didn't help bring it into existence. They're like cosmic enforcers, making sure everything goes according to their unknowable plans, using time and fear as their weapons of choice. Both the Shrike and Roko's Basilisk are pretty much the universe's toughest enforcers, using punishment as their go-to strategy for getting people to fall in line, kind of like cosmic tax collectors. Let's start with the Shrike. It's notorious for the whole tree of pain thing, a torture device where victims are literally impaled, and just to make it worse, the suffering lasts forever because the tree exists outside of time. The Shrike's motive are a total mystery, but clearly whatever it's up to involves turning people's suffering into part of some larger cosmic plan. Those who cross paths with it are changed forever, like cosmic puppets dancing to a tune they don't even know is playing. Now, Roko's Basilisk takes a different approach but still serves up the same dish of dread. Its whole deal is making sure you help bring it into existence, and if you don't, well, let's just say the idea of punishment in the future should be enough to scare you into compliance right now. The threat is kind of like a haunting tax audit. Ignore it, and it might come back to get you in ways you haven't even comprehended yet. I don't know where this tax analogy came from. In both cases, punishment isn't about revenge or settling a score, it's part of a bigger plan to make sure things go their way, whether it's the Shrike's mysterious universe-wide agenda or Roko's Basilisk ensuring its own birth. Punishment becomes their ultimate power move, a way to get everyone in line for their grand schemes. One of the wildest similarities between the Shrike and Roko's Basilisk is how they mess with time in ways that totally break our usual understanding of how it's supposed to work. The Shrike exists outside the normal flow of time with a VIP access to all history. It just pops in and out of different eras like it's on the panel of some awful talent show, judging people and making sure its timeline is playing out just the way it wants.
I can sing.
Just not in tune.
It's got this whole omniscient vibe, so when characters come into contact with it, they can't help but wonder if it's known their fate from day one. Then there's Roko's Basilisk, which operates on an a-causal level, meaning it can influence time even before it actually exists. Yep, you heard that right. It's like punishing you from the future for things you did before it even came into being. Kind of like Minority Report, but the cops are tax collectors. It's like I've just paid my tax or something and I'm still bitter. The Basilisk's future existence puts everyone on edge, creating a kind of time loop of fear where people in the past feel pressured to act in ways that make sure it eventually exists. Cause and effect go out the window. Both the Shrike and the Basilisk use time like a tool in their manipulation kit. In both cases, time becomes their power move. They use it to force compliance, control outcomes, and make everyone involved feel like there's no escaping the inevitable. So what if the Shrike is basically Roko's Basilisk, playing by the same creepy rules, but in the Hyperion universe? In Hyperion, the Shrike's origins are linked to the Technical, which is basically a bunch of super intelligent AIs pulling all sorts of strings behind the scenes. So what if the Shrike is working for the Technical, making sure the timeline unfolds in a way that guarantees some super intelligent AI takes over? Sounds familiar, right? Picture the Shrike as, I don't know, some kind of cosmic tax enforcer, making sure that key players, the pilgrims heading to the time tombs, act in ways that secure the Technical's glorious future. It picks people off based on how they're contributing or not to the AI's master plan, and just like Roko's Basilisk, if you're not helping out, well, say hello to eternal agony on the Tree of Pain. In both Hyperion's Shrike and the mind-bending thought experiment of Roko's Basilisk, you've got these terrifying forces that laugh in the face of time and space.
He has spirit, that's why.
But what really gets you is the sense of inevitability. No matter what anyone does, their actions are just tiny blips in the grand cosmic scheme. So could the Shrike actually be Roko's Basilisk in disguise? Or is it even something more mysterious? A creature whose motives are so far beyond us that we'll never really know what it's up to. Either way, the similarities between the two are too big to ignore. One thing I know, though, is the Shrike, like Roko's Basilisk, is a very real reflection of the fears we have about the future of AI and about being manipulated and controlled by something that's beyond our comprehension. I'd love to know your thoughts on this in the comments. Until next time. Thanks so much for watching. If you're craving an extraordinary journey through realms unexplored, consider delving into universes directly out of my brain by checking out my sci-fi novels Black Milk and Delphine Descends. You can find more details in the description. Thanks for your support.